Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully you don't see a whole lot of glare here. These are the notes that I would like you to take for lesson 4.1. Please go to the next blank page in your notebook. Hopefully you already put your table of contents in. If not, do so before you move on. So at the top of the page, it's area of parallelograms 4.1. And we're going to start by reviewing just rectangles. So it says parallelograms, and then it gives you your formula. So area equal base times height. Sometimes you will see that as written area, or capital A, equal, and then it's just going to show the BH right together. Remember back from chapter 1, when we have two variables next to each other, without any sign, we always use multiplication. Down below in red, you can see a typical rectangle, base times height, and then you can see a rectangle with the base of 7 and a height of 4 inches, and you can see the area written inside the rectangle. So the area of that rectangle would be 28 inches squared. I'm going to step around and move the whiteboard up a little, so if the camera moves around, don't freak out. This is a good time to pause and take those notes. I actually just had a really good idea. I'm going to leave the remote here so it won't do that. Alright, I've moved the screen up, and now you should be looking in green at an actual parallelogram. Our parallelogram. Alright, my robot just decided to turn around on me, and I'm not really sure why. I think he's trying to find me. Alright, well, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Hope you had a little fun spinning around. So, we're looking at some different notes now. We're looking at a parallelogram in green. I've labeled the base, and notice how I labeled the height. It's a little different than we do when we do a rectangle. Outside the parallelogram, I put a dotted line straight down and put an arrow to that, and then put the H there for height. To the right in green, you'll notice that I have labeled the base as 7 inches, just like I did with the rectangle. And then at this time, I showed the height inside the parallelogram. I'm still going straight from top to bottom. It's still 4 inches, just like it was with my rectangle. And now I have an area of 28 inches squared. If you look down below that in red, I have a parallelogram that I've kind of flipped on its side. And the reason for that is just because it's on its side doesn't mean that you still can't find a base and a height. This time I labeled the base 5 centimeters, and then I labeled the height 3 centimeters. Notice I used the dotted line again. We never want to follow that diagonal because those aren't actually 3 centimeters high. They're slightly longer because they go diagonal. To the right of that in green, I wrote out the formula, area equal 5 times 3, and my area for that parallelogram is going to be 15 centimeters squared. I'm going to try to go back around, and hopefully the swivel won't follow me this time, and we will take a look at what a piece of graph paper would look like. So I have 2 more samples for you here. In the first sample, I actually used a table on my smartboard, and I labeled it with a base of 5 feet and a height of 4. And the nice thing is, remember in elementary school when you tried counting all the little squares in there and trying to match them up? We don't have to do that anymore, because we know that if we measure the base and then we measure from the bottom of that parallelogram straight up to the top, we can get dimension. In this case I used feet, so our area of our parallelogram, 5 feet times 4 feet, is 20 feet squared. The last example you're going to have to do tonight, and then you can go ahead and relax, is the bottom one. Notice I labeled the base as 8, and now I have 2 heights. I have 4 yards on the right and 5 yards on the left. Hopefully you know the international symbol for no, and that is what I just did to that 5 yards. We do not want to measure the diagonal. Okay? We want to measure straight up and down. So the correct answer for the formula for this parallelogram would be 32 yards squared, because 8 times 4 is 32. Hopefully you had fun with your first video. I'm signing off, and I will see you tomorrow. Remember, you did your watch part of your WISC-U. Tomorrow we're going to summarize and come up with questions to deepen our understanding. Peace out. Have a good night.